Let's talk about 2025.7. Some new stuff coming.
I think the big one for me is actually asking a question. Um,
Hmm.
and I think I must have got. I thought this was like a feature a few months ago, but it was actually just for notifications, where the voice assistant, where you could say, "Okay, notify me that the washing is done," and play a prelude sound and all that. Now you can actually have an automation kickoff, and the voice assistant can ask you a question. Um, Same thing with notifications. You can have it play a notification tone before it starts talking, and then you can use. It'll ask you a question, and you can then use sentences or phrases as response values. So I set one up. I think there's an example in the release notes regarding, would you like to play some music, or what genre of music would you like to play?
Hmm.
I just took it a bit step back. So I have, I think it was uh, one of our recent guests sort of talked about having music playing when you're working in the day to help you with productivity. So I created a Telegram message when I'm sitting in my office for 10 minutes and it's a work day. Send me a message saying, "Hey, do you want to play some music?" And I can just reply on Telegram, yes or no. So I thought,
Right.
well, I have the voice PE on my desk. This is a great use case for this. So I fired up an automation just as a test case at the moment. So yeah, essentially what I did was, am I sitting at the desk? Send it, get the voice PE to ask me, would you like to play some music? And I can just say yes or no. The way you set the responses are, I believe, because it becomes a choose action. You need to use some variables, some Ginger templating. So the response that you get back becomes a variable. So what you'll do is you'll essentially set up your responses. So for this case, I had yes or no. So one option was yes, one option was no. But you could potentially have multiple options, right? Like colors, red, green, blue. You then, once you've got your options that you want to define, you then need to set up the phrases that could be responded with. So, for
Yeah.
example, for yes, I could have yes, yes, please, yes, thank you, not right now, no, no, thank you. Um, I would like to see an opportunity here for Home Assistant in the future to have some phrases or buckets of phrases preloaded. So, like for example, responses in the affirmative, responses in the negative, and a whole just preloaded, right? Like they should know that no, thank you, no, yes, yes, please. They all mean the same thing
Right.
essentially. Um, Obviously, two delineations there, but it would be cool. Yeah, if in the future I could just say, yep, here is a bucket of sentences that you've already got from the community as a yes or no. Blueprints will make that easier. I believe there'll be some people having some fun with blueprints out there. If we can, make a whole bunch of canned responses as a blueprint, that would be good. But yeah, that was my little thing. It worked great. I said yes, and sure enough, the music started playing. I have, this is what I really wanted from my Amazon Echo for quite some time. So this is now, the voice PE now has an advantage over the Amazon Echo for me, where I can't get the Amazon Echo to ask me a question or prompt me something.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it's a cool feature again, especially if you don't want to have a LLM involved, right? So if you don't want to use something like a ChatGPT or Google Gemini, or if you're hosting your own Olama, because a lot of this can be done today, right, or prior to this release with if you do have an LLM. The big difference here is that you don't have one, and you can program those responses in. So I think there's a definite um, there's a definite place where this belongs. I think I do think there's a good place for it, but again, it's if you want to avoid that and you have, I don't know, like a ChatGPT account or Google Gemini, as I've been playing with, you can ask it that, right? At that point, it's a little more flexible. So I can say, like, instead of yeah or yes, I can say yep, okay, go ahead,
Hmm.
right? Like whatever, and it knows that as an affirmative or just as an example. Again, it doesn't have to be yay or nay. It can be whatever. Uh, but yeah, and even when Paulus was showing us this on the creators call, it was like, okay, what color would you do you choose, right? And it's like, okay, well, yellow and then like lemon is close to yellow, so let's put that in. So it's like, again, a lot of times there's different ones you have to choose from, right? And it's like, okay, pink, salmon, like whatever, right? That's so that's the slightly kind of annoying part. I wouldn't call it annoying. It's just it's tedious.
Yeah.
But again, if you're not a big AI person, you don't want to incorporate that, or you don't want to pay for it, you don't want to whatever the reason is. Again, there's no right or wrong answer here. Um, it's a good choice.
Something that I think also came out of the Year of the Voice Chapter 10 was the ability for Home Assistant to, or the voice product, to respond back with a question when issuing a command. So
Mhm.
for the moment, they've only enabled it for timers. So the idea being that you would say, hey, can you set me a timer? And it will respond back asking for how long would you like the timer for. Right
Right.
now, it's only enabled for timers. The community or the project is looking for feedback on potential other items that follow up questions
Hmm.
by default should be enabled for. But yeah, that's also there now too. So say set a timer, it will then prompt you, okay, how long do you want that timer for? 15 minutes, and then it will set it for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.